This morning I was teaching the college students from Cardiff via FaceTime, and we spent some time looking into the book of Hebrews. We were actually studying the book of Revelation, but you know what it's like. You start studying the scriptures and you go all over the place. I particularly like the book of Hebrews. One of the things that endears me to the author is that in the early chapters he quotes Psalm 8, but he doesn't realize that he's doing that. He says, someone somewhere said, and then quotes Psalm 8. And I find that endearing because I often don't know where the scripture's coming from. I just know it's there somewhere. And it's good to know that someone as important as the writer to the Hebrews had the same problem. And the passage that I like is that very one where he quotes Psalm 8 and says, "What is man that you are mindful of him, or the son of man that you remember him? You made him a little lower than the angels. You crowned him with glory and honor, and you put all things under his feet." And then he says, "But we do not yet see all things under his feet." And when he says that, he's speaking about man. He's not speaking about the Lord. He's not speaking about Jesus. He's speaking about humanity. For God's ultimate purpose is that his redeemed people will have all things under their feet. But he says, we don't yet see that. I don't see things under my feet. I don't see things under the feet of my friends. We still struggle in some areas. We're still fighting against some situations. But we don't see all things yet under our feet. But then he says, we do see Jesus crowned with glory and honor. And although not all things are under my feet, I firmly believe, and I believe Scripture teaches that all things are under the feet of Jesus. If they're not, whose feet are they under, I wonder? And then later on, in the book of Hebrews, he tells us that we are to run the race set before us looking unto Jesus. And I wonder what kind of Jesus you think he means when we have to look unto him. I don't think he means the babe in the manger. I don't think he means even the preacher, the prophet, the miracle worker who walked the streets of Judah. I don't think he means even the Christ hanging on the cross. I believe he means looking unto Jesus crowned with glory and honor. I believe he means we're to look to the Jesus that John saw in the first chapter of the book of Revelation. This wonderful, awesome image of the risen, glorified Christ, that when John saw him, he fell at his feet as low dead. And Jesus lifts him up and commissions him into his ministry again. If you and I are to succeed, if you and I are to be overcomers, if you and I are going to win the race that is set before us, if you and I are going to be those who succeed in the purposes of God, we've got to make sure we're looking at the right Jesus, the Jesus who has overcome, the Jesus who has won the race, the Jesus who has finished the course, the Jesus who has sat down at the right hand of majesty on high, the Jesus full of glory, the Jesus full of grace, the Jesus who is the ultimate victor. And as I look to that Jesus, I find myself enabled to overcome, enabled to run the race, enabled to finish the course.